Sure.
Welcome to Shambhavi's Spectrum Marketing Magic Industry Insight Series. Today I have the lovely, amazing Elizabeth Kuruvilla from Green Shine here as my guest. And anything you talk about sustainability, water, green, shine, she is it. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here, Elizabeth. How are you doing today?
I'm fine. Thank you, Shambhavi. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you so very much. Couldn't have been better with you here. Tell me something about
But
your organization.
first, let me thank you for having me. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Green Shine is a sustainable development initiative contributing to conservation of scarce resource water. As we all know, of all the 5 resources that Mother Nature has blessed us with, water is the most critical. Yeah, no water, no life. Uh, I used to work for an oil company before the entrepreneurial bug bit me and I decided to set up Green Shine. So there we were very conscious of the need for sustainable development, and there was a talk that by 2050 known reserves of oil would be depleted. So a lot of other sources, alternative sources like renewable energy, etc., were being explored. And then I realized that water is so much more critical. As I mentioned, no water, no life. And it is high time we all took measures to make sure that our coming generations also have enough sources of water that we enjoy at the moment. So when I came across this concept where, water that is wasted by the auto care industry could be saved, I loved it. I fell for it, and I quit my regular job and I decided to start up this organization called Green Shine. As I mentioned, this is a sustainable development initiative contributing to conservation of water wasted by the auto care industry. Now, UAE is the third highest per capita consumer of water after the US and Canada. US and Canada have potable sources of water, whereas we spend a lot of money and energy trying to desalinate water. And then wasting this water that we have spent so much effort on to keep it potable. If that is being wasted on keeping cars looking good, I thought that was criminal. If you just walk down Jumeirah, for example, early in the morning, you will find a whole lot of water flowing down. People are cleaning their cars, the hose is used. Without realizing it, we're wasting a whole lot of water on keeping our cars looking good, which I thought if I could provide an alternate but far superior source of keeping cars looking good, nothing like it. So when I came across this concept, it's a US concept actually. I took franchise for the Middle East. I loved it, and I decided to set it up here.
Right. So, how old is the company now?
We set it up by the end of 2012. So it is close to 9 years at the moment. The difference with Green Shine is we are not just cleaning cars, we're also into detailing. For example, a seat shampoo where so much of water is wasted, gallons of water is wasted. In our case, it's a totally dry operation. In 3 to 4 hours, you have your car back looking spotlessly clean inside. All the stains are removed. So customers also love it because if you take it for a seat shampoo, for example, you have to leave it there overnight for the seats to dry. The sponge gets clogged with water, so it never gets back its original texture. In our case, the inside stays as good as it was originally. Plus, you get your car back in 3 to 4 hours. So mothers, especially with toddlers, who keep spilling milk and juice on seats, they find the service extremely useful, and they are our major customers for this particular service. Similarly, exterior detailing, we use banana wax we use non-abrasive pumice for the polish. So everything is not just waterless, but organic as well.
Which is amazing. And like you said about Jumeirah, it's not just Jumeirah. Everywhere you walk around in the morning, you'll see this water being wasted, which is, like you said, a criminal waste, considering that water is in scarcity in the world and people walk so many kilometers in interiors of almost every country to get some water which is drinkable. And so it does seem to be like something which we can do, which we can take an action about. And so please take me back a little bit to your decision of the entrepreneurial journey, and how did you decide, what made you decide on which franchise, or are there many available, and it was just a matter of what suited you? How did you go through the process?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I did not become an entrepreneur straight away. There are the Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates who were born entrepreneurs. In fact, I started my career after my MBA in marketing in the petrochemical industry in India, and then I moved to the UAE to the oil and gas sector. I actually am glad I first had this base in the corporate sector before I could become an entrepreneur, because I got experience in various fields of management, whether it was recruitment, whether it was sales, whether it was finance. Yeah, so I got a background in everything, and then I decided to become an entrepreneur. Now, I have always wanted to do something on my own to give back to the society that's given me so much. So when my son, who he finished his education and he got a job and he became independent, I thought, if I don't become an entrepreneur now, when do I do it? That's how I decided to quit. Not an easy journey, because, as you know, corporate life is a very secure life. Yeah, you have your salary coming in at the end of the month, you have different departments supporting you, whereas an entrepreneur's journey, you're alone, you do everything on your own initially, at least. It was a difficult decision, but then, as I mentioned, I always wanted to do something on my own, so I just took the plunge. I remember my management. I was with an oil company in UAE when I decided to take the plunge. My country GM, he thought I was acting totally out of character, so he sat me down and he told me, in the corporate world, you are protected. Out there where you're headed, you're entering a world of sharks, which is very, very true. It was a very good intentioned advice. He was trying to prepare me. After so many years of corporate life, it's not easy. It has not been easy, but then the satisfaction you get, when you achieve something, is unparalleled. You don't get that in corporate life. Plus, it's a very steep learning curve. You learn everything, a lot of things in a short period through experience. So, no regrets at all. I enjoy this journey.
So you're almost nearing 10 years now. Yes, it's going to be your 10th anniversary of your work, Green Shine. Do you have any approximation on how many gallons of water you might have saved?
Yeah. So, when I first started Green Shine, my objective was, in 5 years' time, if I can get 20% of UAE's car owners to, use to turn to waterless methods for keeping their cars looking good, I would have achieved my objective. So that was my objective. If you go to an automatic wash that you find all over UAE, around 200 liters of water are being used. If you go to houses where they use hose, to clean cars, more than 200 liters. You'll find a whole lot of services in malls and other areas where lots of cars are parked. But even that, I would not even, compare ourselves with them, because one is they use 4 liters of water, but then that is being used and reused. So I would
Used.
tend to say it's a little, yeah, yeah. So initially, when I started, I thought every car owner was my target customer, but I soon realized that my target customer is somebody who loves his car and will spend time, effort, and money and in keeping his car looking good. So it is slightly upmarket. So once I defined my customer, then it was easier for me to decide everything from pricing to marketing to the locations that I would select to offer my services. Um, yeah, so that's been the journey through the period.
So it's great that you're very clear on your target audience, because I was going to ask you this question, that how does price sensitivity affect your customer? And in some ways you've just answered it, but would you like to talk more about it? Especially
Sure.
here,
Yeah.
we have the building watchmen. They clean the cars 3 times a week, and we pay them what, a fraction of what we would be paying even in an auto car wash, which probably people might be taking once a month or maybe fortnight, and that's it. So how does the price factor of, we know that this is a little bit more, like you said, so what is it which motivates the customer to become a loyal person, loyal customer with Green Shine?
Yeah. So we are slightly more expensive than a normal. You find all kinds of, as you said, car wash facilities. You have the watchman doing it for 100 dirhams a month. You have in malls for 18 dirhams, 20 dirhams. Ours is, in comparison, 40 dirhams and 50 dirhams. But then, now we have two types, B2B and B2C. Uh, B2C is where we have outlets where customers come to us and get their cars done. B2B, we have contracts with organizations where we do a certain number of cars for them per month and they pay us monthly. Now, the B2B market has kept us going through the pandemic when there are market fluctuations. Market fluctuations affect B2C market quite a bit, especially during the pandemic. We've seen it. But even then, the B2B customers kept us going. Even through the lockdown, that 1 month lockdown that we had we provide bio wash at the airport for Teslas for DTC, so that was considered an essential service, so that kept us going as well. Now, as I mentioned, it's slightly more expensive than the normal car wash, but then if you take our car wash, for example, our liquid is a smart liquid that lifts and emulsifies dirt. So with normal water wash, especially the mall one, you will find lots of swirl marks, because with water wash, you use water pressure or water to remove dust. There'll always be fine dust. And then when you wipe it dry, there will be swirl marks. In our case, the smart liquid lifts and emulsifies dirt, which is wiped away in one direction using special microfiber towels. So absolutely no risk of even one speck of fine dust. So when we wipe it dry and then we buff it up, because it's organic, there's a waxy haze that's left behind, which is buffed up. So even with normal cleaning, there's a shine like polish. So absolutely no risk of swirl marks. Over a period, car owners, we've gained this reputation that, if it's a new car, you don't want swirl marks, come to Green Shine. So that has been a big sense of achievement for us. Now, the shine that it leaves behind, as I said, when we buff it up, there's a shine that acts as prevention against dust accumulation. So your interval between washes is longer. So if with water, if you're washing, say, twice a week, in our case, once in 10 days is more than enough. So this slight increase in price is already offset there. Yeah, if you take it in the long run, ours is definitely much more economic than a normal water wash. This with water and soap, every time you wash, it's taking away the sheen of your paint. In our case, being organic, it seals in moisture, so the life of your paint is longer. So every way, if you look at it, though per wash, if you compare per wash, it is more expensive. In the long run, it's definitely much more economic to use methods like ours.
I would also think that for the greater good of the earth and for mankind, one would look at this as a solution, which is a sustainable solution in terms of what sustainability actually means, that you can continue doing this and still maintain your resources. So I think it's a great concept that you have. I also noticed you mentioned the word organic a couple of times, and of course I visited your website earlier where also organic is mentioned. Tell us a little bit more about the organic factor of the wax or the chemicals, or how does that work? And also, do you stick to the same supplier and brand, or are you open to look at exploring new avenues?
Yeah. As I mentioned, Green Shine is a company based in the US. So I have taken master franchise for the Middle East. I do not take any other products. All the products we have are Green Shine products. We are not open to any other brand. Uh, Green Shine, as I mentioned, the whole range is coconut based. So that is where the organic thing comes in. And as I mentioned, as you yourself just mentioned, soap and water going into the earth, yeah, drainage, that itself, that is avoided. There's no drainage issue, for example, and because of that factor, one of the local oil companies, they have actually signed up with us to use our bio wash at all their stations where there is municipality drainage issue. Yeah? Municipality does not give them approval for, because there's a drainage problem there or there's no water facility available. So that's where they use us. So we come in handy in places like that. As I mentioned, it's the whole range is organic. The smart liquid that we use for cleaning, initially, people, wash is synonymous with water. So a lot of people had their own doubts when they came to us. We had to do a whole lot of free demos initially. We still have the odd customer coming into us saying, can you just try this door for us? Or can you just try this part for us? Let me see if it'll leave a scratch, things like that. So we do that for them. But once he has used it, invariably he becomes a loyal customer because he realizes one is absolutely no risk of surface. It leaves a shine, a polish-like shine actually, which lasts for close to 10 days. So his car remains clean. He doesn't have to clean it more often. There are a lot of advantages using this kind of service. Though initially there is a hesitation, we find that once somebody has tried us out, he becomes a loyal customer for life.
So you've just led the conversation into the marketing aspect of it, because I would have said that in a product which is complex like yours, a demonstration is one of the best methods to show the customer that what actually the product can do. So do you do this product demonstration kind of a thing always, or is it just when people ask, or do you have any sessions where you say, come and get your car done or something like that, where a product demonstration is involved?
Initially, when we set up Greenshine 2012, 2013, I think we did a whole lot of demos. I would write to all the, our market was huge. It could be any place where cars were being, cleaned or cars were being detailed. So I remember the OEMs, the BMW OEMs, the Altairs, the Alphatames. We would be invited by all of them to do demos for them, and they would bring their dirtiest car to check if this really can clean as I have been claiming. So initially, yes, we had to do a whole lot of demos. And once they were convinced, they would always take us on. We do have quite a few B2B contracts based on the demos that we did. And then the B2C outlets that we have, initially, of course, there was a bit of a lag. As I mentioned, customers were hesitant. We had to do demos, and this kind of service always spreads word of mouth. So once a customer has done, you will find, his friends. So when they praise it, when they find it very good, we always tell them, put a remark or put a review on Google Ads or wherever, and please spread the word among your friends. So they always do that, and that's word of mouth has helped us a whole lot.
It's whatever marketing you do or you don't do, at the end of the day, word of mouth is what actually works for everyone. And I definitely think those who are listening to us, they should spread the good word when they hear about or use something and are happy with it. They should definitely spread. Sometimes you just forget to put that customer review or that customer testimonial, which would make so much difference. We share our sorrows very much. When you're not happy, you kind of put it out there, but when you're happy, it's I don't know why it's so difficult to get on to that in that 1 minute and do it. But I would recommend that everybody should, for any product or service which they feel happy with, including yours, which has a bigger picture, has a bigger, greater good happening around it. Let us talk a little bit
Thank
more
you,
about
Shamim,
the
for
market.
saying
Sorry?
that. Thank you for saying that. Nothing like customer reviews.
Right.
And thankfully, we've had some. Yeah, go ahead.
Good. Okay. So can people review you on Google? Do you have Google reviews?
Yeah, we do. In fact, a whole lot of customers that come to us tell us that, you have such excellent reviews on Google. That's why we came. If you've noticed, a lot of youngsters, these days, the first thing they do is they check out the reviews and then they select,
Yes.
So whether it's a restaurant or whatever. So this works, very effectively.
Yeah. So not just youngsters. We also.
Right.
Right.
I'm still to get into that. Yeah.
It helps, talking about customer reviews, and this is not out of context. This helps actually to understand whether that particular product or service, is it meant for you? Is it what you're looking for? And is it an ideal time for you to do it now? These things actually help when you read the review, because everything bright and 5 stars may not be something which you need at that moment, and you could probably wait it out, or it's something you should have done yesterday. Yeah, so it can be either ways. Let us talk about your website. So I know that you have a website, and it's quite self-explanatory. Do you get many? I saw that there's a contact form, and so do you get many people approaching you through the websites also?
So now that you've brought that subject in, Shampi, I just want to mention when I was working with corporates, yeah, we used to have huge, SPNA budgets, and we could spend on print media, on electronic media, everything. But when you start on your own, it is your hard-earned money, so every penny counts. That's when I stumbled upon, the digital marketing space, which I think is fantastic. So we have a website which was done by a friend. In fact, he said, "Let me do it for you," and so I feel you as the owner of your business know your business the best. What should be highlighted, what should not be highlighted. So a friend doing it for you really helps. And on this website, I do search engine optimization using a company based in India, and I've given them the keywords that I need, which they have been doing a great job. Plus, I do sell adverts, which again, I run it myself. As I mentioned, I know my business better than anybody else. So I put in the ads there. So I select the target location, the target, the demographics, the age group, the nationalities, everything. And I have kept a limit of just 20 dirhams per day, which, if you look at it, the ROI is amazing. I get a whole lot of interest based on my website, both the search engine optimization and the Google AdWords put together. Most of our leads come from that.
Right, right. And you have an Insta handle as which I
Yeah,
think which I also
we do
follow. Is
that.
that right? There's an Instagram handle, and
Yes,
how often do
yes.
you update on the Instagram?
Not as often as I would like to, as I should be doing. I keep telling myself I should keep a schedule. I remember attending a course where they said, keep a day every week. Keep, Monday you will do this, Tuesday you will do this, have some snippets ready. There was a time when I was into that, but I think I should do much more. Yeah, it's not enough for sure.
It helps now that you can schedule it earlier on, so maybe you could think about that also, that you would do you have a Facebook page, Elizabeth?
I do, yeah.
Gr- Greenshine has an
On
Elizabeth
that,
page. Sorry, Greenshine
green,
has a Facebook has a Facebook page.
uh,
Sorry for that.
has a
Yeah,
green shine UAE. No, green shine
I think
UAE is
Greenshine and
active.
Elizabeth are
Both.
synonymous. So I just
Yes,
probably,
I would like it to be
yeah,
like that. So Green
absolutely,
Shine
it is. It
UAE
is.
is our, thank you, Shafi. Green Shine UAE is our both for Instagram and Facebook. We do post quite a lot of stuff on both together normally. We have a Twitter handle as well, which is not as active as these two are.
Okay. On your website, I saw blog, but I don't think it's very updated. Is that right? Is it because of lack of time, or is
I,
it
I,
something
I,
that you want to do it yourself?
ashamed to say yes, it is not updated. I think initial 2, 3 blogs probably, and that's it. I could definitely do much more with it. I don't know if it's lack of time. It's just priorities. I definitely can find time if I would put it as number one priority for sure. Which I know you would probably advise me that yes, you have to do it, which I should look into that.
Which is true, and which only you can do. Very honestly, anybody else doing it for you, it would look like that somebody else has done. I mean, things are so transparent. Do you use newsletters? Do you communicate with your customers with newsletters?
I have a WhatsApp group of my database of customers. We have a green shine number into which, so when we have promotions, etc., we send out messages. No news. We did start initially. We did have a newsletter, but then I found WhatsApp was so much more faster and more reactive and interactive, so I got into that.
Yeah. No, not everybody does newsletters, and also not everybody reads it. Let's be honest. So it is something which really needs a lot of work, and we'll talk about it another time. You do you have a LinkedIn page for the company?
Yeah, I have a LinkedIn page for Green Shine, but I find I'm more active on my own LinkedIn page. That again, LinkedIn and Twitter are two forums I should work more on. Facebook, I am pretty active. So is Instagram. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you about how you do your marketing and how you track, and let us talk a little bit more about your personal self. So, when you are not trying to save water for the world, what are you doing, Elizabeth?
You mean my hobbies, my personal
Yes.
life? Yeah,
Yeah. How do you spend your
I
time?
love
What do you like to do?
I love reading. I'm at a phase in my life where my responsibilities are kind of over. My husband is no more. My son is settled. He's finished his engineering. He's working with Emirates Airlines. So he's married. He lives in Dubai, but I live with my sister. She's a psychologist, so she works with Fly Dubai. I love reading. I am learning to play the piano at the moment, which I
Wow.
really am enjoying. So that gives me a lot of peace of mind. Uh, and then I am part of quite a few networking groups like the one we are part of. I'm a member of Dubai Business Women's Council, so I attend a whole lot of their networking events. Uh, I am quite a people person, so I like to meet people. Uh, have been in UAE for over 20 years, so have quite a group of friends here. We catch up pretty often. Yeah, so those are my
So you mentioned reading
pastimes.
couple of times. You mentioned reading couple of times. So any favorite authors or any book that you would recommend to the people who are watching, who could be students or young entrepreneurs or people like us who are in our network? Any book that you would recommend to them?
I am I'm very much into fiction, so it is mostly Jeffrey Archer and Robert Ludlum and all those old authors. Those are the ones that I have.
Can you see vigorous head shaking because I'm also into fiction totally. I would have
Which,
gone ahead to say Daniel Steele and Nora Roberts also.
yes, started with Enid Blyton, Nelson Bones, then matured
Yes,
into
yes.
all of these.
We
Yes,
we walk the same path in the universe at some parallel
yes,
way somewhere
yeah.
else. So it's is there any
John
motivational
Grisham.
quote? Yeah, any motivational quote or mantra that you live by, and which makes it important for you to follow that, or you know anything which you tell people when you meet them. Is there anything like that?
I firmly believe that Mother Nature. You can put it whatever name you want to give it. Mother Nature has blessed us with so many resources, which we are enjoying. Yeah. So it is our responsibility to make sure that the coming generations, our children, our children's children, they also get to enjoy it in the quantity and quality that we are in the moment. I think it's each one of our responsibility. I remember meeting a friend like this at one of the networking events, and she saw what I was doing. She mentioned to me that her mother, she's a French lady, her mother in this friend that I met is my generation. So her mother in that generation would use water she used for laundry to flush toilets. So because she was careful and conscious of the need to conserve water in her generation, we in our generation are still enjoying it. I feel it's up to each one of us to make sure that in simple terms, that's what sustainable development is, nothing else. So uh, while I remember reading a quote by, I think, the UN Vice President in the 1990s. So he said, in this century, if wars are being fought over oil, in the coming century, wars will be fought over water. So we can already see that
Yeah.
there are boundary issues happening in India uh, and all over the world. So I really believe that it is our responsibility to live consciously to make sure that our coming generations have an equally good quality of life. That would be the mantra that of late, I have been very passionate about.
Thank you so very much, Elizabeth, for giving me this time and sharing your thoughts with me and my audience out here. And I would love for you to share a description of the organization with me so that I can put it up in the links section. And I look forward to Green Shine shining more and more people becoming conscious about sustainability, water, and what they can do about it. So, thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Shantvi, for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. So Please don't go away. Just stay put. I'll just end the session here.
I will. Sure.